Hello, everybody. Nice to welcome you again on our Frogeex Green Tech Live. Today, we have the amazing Diego Romero from Global Impact Alliance here with us. Diego is a holistic system thinker and expert, working with municipalities and organizations, helping them on their sustainability journey. So let me welcome Diego, first of all, here with us. Nice to
Thank you,
have you
Diana.
here. It's always
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. For those of you which did not know me, I am Jana Skokan. I'm the co-founder of Frogeex, which is a green tech marketplace. It's a global network of businesses and entrepreneurs and NGOs and universities working together to have a more sustainable living and building. We come from the building segment, so a lot of things that are that we talk about are connected to the built environment, to planning, to urban structures, to infrastructure, and this is how we work through all the little chains in the big system that we work with, which is Diego's specialty. And one of the elements which we hear more and more, especially in the context of sustainability, is the bioeconomy and bioregions. It's a term that is coming up and it's being more used by experts, by consultants, by people that kind of are very deep in this segment. And we want to bring this topic closer to you today so you can leverage, what it means to work within the bioeconomy or function as a business unit within the bioeconomy. How is it connected to bioregions and what's the impact of a bioregion for your business, for your organization? So this is what would be automatically also the first question to you, Diego, maybe before we go into some kind of, little brief from your side on this topic. Can you tell us something more about the bioeconomy? What are the kind of key features of a bioeconomy that you would like to share with us?
Hmm. Yeah, like what I see, like the good opportunity about bioeconomy is to create an economy integrated with nature. So understand the patterns and the functioning of nature, and start to create an economy that fit into this functioning of nature. So this would be like the best feature to a bioeconomy. Work better and more connected and more aligned with nature. Because right now we are producing so many things that are not aligned or connected with nature, uh, and this is the most problem. The key elements that are causing the crisis and all. So working with elements with resource more aligned with nature would be the best scenario for a bioeconomy.
Great. And when we talk about the bioeconomy, you mentioned also a little bit the differences compared to how we function right now. Are there any other principles that kind of strongly differentiate how we operate still, and how will we operate at the kind of this target stage where we are like connected? We have a kind of symbiosis. Many times we talk about the Anthropocene. We want to go into a more symbiosine where we kind of are having a harmonious a relationship with nature. What other features would you like to maybe share with us, if there are any, like that you would like to highlight or pinpoint for the audience here?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I think,
Don't be
uh,
shy.
w- yeah, I think would be better. Now we can go to the presentation, and I can, yeah, give some. I prepare a little example to understand a little bit why we are failing so much and what we can start to do. Because yeah, when we talk about bioregions or bioeconomy, it's all like when we look from ecological perspectives, all this is interconnected and interdependent. And we fail most of the times because we don't understand the systems that we are working on. So our society is inside of the nature or inside in the planetary boundaries and all, but we all the time try to create a separate thing. So these cause a lot of problems. So I think with the example that I bring, so
So
just
that's super. Mhm.
yeah, before we go to the bioregions, let's start to understand what happens. So here, just a example from a European chemical industry that runs the business like the old business as usual. So I start the business here, and I start to use a lot of resource from nature, biological resource, minerals, chemicals, and yeah, like this kind of stuffs. And I use extractive and use non-renewable materials from nature. Then my company start to grow, and my impact to nature start to increase too. And together with the growth, my risk increase. And this is an interesting point because most of the people, the companies look to the risks related to the financial risks, but they don't look to the overall risks that the company have. So when I increase the impact, I increase the risks in an overall way, not looking to the financial. But here we include the extreme weathers, the lack of resource, the destruction of biodiversity. So it's all the impact that we create that can create problems in the future for us. So yeah, so there, like this company use European resource and later resource from countries in the southern hemisphere, and use fossil energy source. Then, after some time, this company start to be a green tech regenerative company, and they start to use European renewable resource, regenerative agriculture resource from countries in the southern hemisphere, and using renewable energy. And the part that the emissions that they cannot handle, they offsetting in projects in Amazon forest. Okay, great. They do that. They appears like a green, but the nature impact continue or reduce a little. The growth continue and the risk continue. So here is something that I think most of the people don't expect that happen this kind of situation. So why this happen? Why a company that could be a green company or a positive with nature? Why the impact continues and the risk still increase? So the key here is the bioregions, because bioregions are determinants to climate, to resource, and to biodiversity. And why this is so important for industries and companies? Because most of the times we don't understand the place that we are. So yeah, I will go and share the examples. So first, what is a bioregion? So bioregion is a physical and environmental characteristics that set a pattern or a group of things. So in this case, including watershed boundaries, soil and terrain characters like mountains and all, that can change or can set the climate, like the characters of that specific environmental. And these include biological components too. So we have the biodiversity of plants, animal, fungi, and all these together set the functionality of the system and the biogeochemical cycles. So this is the point. This is very important for industry because this can set how will be the risk of the company, and why we have these bioregions. Why is so important for us to set these small units in space that have some similarities, that have a pattern in climate, in biological functionings, in soil and terrain. So most of the time in math, in chemistry, we try to group things to reduce or to help us understand the complexity of things. So in chemistry, we group elements to understand how they work in chemistry. In math, we group numbers to help us to do the math. And yeah, we can see this happen all the time in all the areas, engineering, medicine, and all. So group things can help us to understand the complexity of things in nature. So here we go from the big one. So these are biogeography realms that they call. So these are the big areas that they separate based on characteristics of the environmental, the weather, the climate, and we can go and reduce the size of the unit and increase the specificity of each group. So here we have sub-realms. So each area that like this, it's a biogeographic realm, and then we set sub-realms that have specific characters that help us understand the patterns that happen in that area. Then we have kind of the biomes that can help us understand more specific the areas. Then we reach in this point the bioregions. So you can see the difference. You have the biome here, like the rainforest, the Amazon rainforest here, and we have different bioregions inside the biome. And why this happen? Because these specific areas have different characters. You can group these specific characters in each region. And then we have the eco-regions that is more specific into the bioregions. So we have the bioregions that have particularities from climate, from plants, animals, like the altitude of the or the elevation of the soil in that area, and all these combined have different or specific chemical cycles, have a climate, a specific climate, have characteristics that help us understand why that region it's like that, why we have the specific plants, the specific animals, and all these combined can help us understand how will be the functioning of these specific areas. And this is very important when we think about how a company is running, because the specifications of the area, it's very important for the company to understand how they can improve the business, how they can reduce the impact, or how they can reduce the risks of the company, bring more resilience to the company. Yeah. So this is the grouping that we are doing. So thinking about the graphic that I bring before. So why this happened? Yeah, I become green tech and regenerative company, and even so, my nature impact is still going, and my risk is still continue, because I don't take care of the bioregions. Here we can like they are using research from another hemisphere. They are offsetting projects in another hemisphere. So these don't help the company. So if we go to this image, so imagine this small city, and I have my company here. I know that is not a place to a chemical company, but yeah, imagine that this place have a chemical company. So why my risks continue grow here? Because I don't handle the elements in nature to reduce the risks here. So here, remember that we are grouping to specifications, to smaller specifications to reduce the unit of the grouping that we are doing. So here, what we can identify here, we have a watershed in this area. We have another watershed here and another watershed here. So if my
Diego.
company,
Mhm.
yeah.
Because if you have, your mouse or something,
Oh,
we don't see that.
sorry.
So if you could be just a little bit more specific for the viewers that they can follow, where do you localize the watershed? What are the areas that you
Oh,
would
yeah,
touch?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we have the first watershed in front of the image. So we have the two mountains and a valley with a small road in the bottom of the valley.
Mhm.
So this will be the first watershed. We have a second one upper and a third one in the behind of the city.
Mhm. Mhm.
So here we can identify some watersheds and why a watershed is so important because it's the area that catch the rain. So what will be the risks of the city if the weather becomes extreme? We don't have enough vegetation to contain the rain because when we think about forest, forests are like a sponge in the system that catch the water that comes from the rain and keep this water and release this water slowly to the system. So when we remove the entire forest, we remove this protection from the land. And this is the first cause of floods. The second one will be the waterproof areas that we create in the cities. So water need to flow and the water goes to the soil. If we waterproof the soil, we cannot allow the water to go to the soil. And these together can cause a lot of floods, and this can increase the risk of a company. So imagine we have a company in this area, and all the offsets and all the production, like even the regenerative agriculture, that is not the best in that way because imagine uh, like the example that we give, it's a regenerative agriculture happening in Brazil. Here in Brazil we have like per hectare we have like 5,000 species or more per hectare. And regenerative agriculture will work with 10, 15 species per hectare. So it's almost nothing compared to the nature, but it's better than monoculture. Yeah. So they can improve a little the situation in the to the nature, but in another hemisphere, they don't do anything in the area of the company. So the risk of the company continue to grow here because they don't have forests to uh, uh, secure a flood or something like that. Here they are not sequestering CO2, and the chemistry industry will continue to emit part of the emissions, part of the CO2. If you not sequester it in near on the region, like the quality of the air here, it's will not be good enough for the society near from the company or even for the employees. So the bioregions, it's key element to
Mhm.
work with sustainability because you need to work near from the to your company to improve the environmental there, to reduce the risks of the company, to improve the well-being of the people, to improve the quality of the food that you produce for the employees or for the or to the society. So this is the key elements that when we think about bioregion are so important for the companies. Like this, another example I think near from you, Jana.
No, there are mountains all around, so
Yeah, yeah,
hard to localize, but I see what you mean. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah. So here we have like the same thing, like similar to a watershed. So near from this lake, we have a protection here We have forest that can reduce the size of the overflow of the rain comes to through the mountains to the valley. So this forest can act like a sponge and can improve the well-being of these people. So all the time, when we think about bioregion, it's thinking about the functionality of the region near from the company. This is the most important. Like, don't make sense for a company. I know that for marketing, it's good to share that you will help to preserve the Amazon forest. Yeah, we need to preserve the Amazon forest, but if the company don't act near from the company, like in the bioregion of the company, you will not improve the well-being of the society and the employees of the company, and the risk of the company will continue to increase. And
Mm.
we can see this happen in Europe with the extreme weather and the floods happen. A lot of damage uh, is was caused by the floods that happened like years before. So this is the situation, and this uh, is why it's so important. Look to the bioregions and work with bioregions to really bring good impact for the company. And it's good to share the results of the company to the society, because society will start to feel all the results that the company start to act to change things.
Mm. Um, yes, I would have some questions already, so I'm not quite sure. Shall we continue, or do we have some space for questions?
No, yeah, questions.
Let's go. Let's go. So, um, now when we listen to this, many times, we have always the perspective of costs being always on the table, especially when it's about sustainability. Everybody's complaining, how expensive is it? Da 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 da. We all know it. We all know it by heart. So, um, what should a company do when they are missing inputs? Because you mentioned you were talking also about this complex supply chains. What if they miss a production input and they need to import it from like far away? What would be like your advice, your recommendation to kind of, you know, reassess, reorganize if there are people that are interested in sustainability in the senior management of the company or executive team? What would be your tip for them to kind of make this plan, this vision to be more sustainable happen, despite the fact what kind of product they have or what their process is right now?
Hmm. Yeah, like it's the same thing. A company can import research from other area, but they need to take care the bioregion from each area that they are working. So I can get research from, I don't know, Brazil, Africa, but I need to look to the bioregions there too to see the impacts that are happening with the production that I am taking from there, and try to minimize the impacts and try to work with the bioregions to give back to nature. Because one thing that most of the companies and most of the people don't understand, when we give back to nature, nature will help us. So thinking about agriculture, when I talk with people, and yeah, like this, it's a good image. uh, so this is a pattern that we can find through Europe. So most of the times people said, "Oh, we preserve biodiversity in Europe like this." It's small lines, and they try to call this a corridor, ecological corridor, but like you can live in 1 meter wide. It's impossible. So why you think that biodiversity can live in 1 meter wide in a linear corridor like that? Like it's impossible to imagine a bird living in this area. It's impossible for a bird living in this area. all the machines, all the agriculture. So when we think about like this kind of situation that you need research from other country, all the time you need to think about the bioregions in each place that you are working. So we have multinational companies. Each industry or each company in each country, you need to set all the strategy plan about the sustainability, look into the bioregions. So a company can get research from other country, but if they don't do anything near from the headquarters of the company in Europe, like how they can reduce the risks of the company there. So you need to all the times think about bioregions because like this specification, these characters of the bioregions that help us to understand the complexity can help us improve the results of the company. So we can have this big supply chain, but we like it's just more work because you need to look for, to different bioregions, and this take more work to do, more research, more knowledge in each bioregion to understand the functioning of each bioregion to work properly and to reduce the impacts and reduce the risks.
I have like many questions that we have here around the topic. So, but maybe let's go also back to your presentation. You mentioned this corridor, the designs that are kind of attempting to come closer to nature, enable life to unfold. What would be the kind of observation that you would like to share? How this plan or strategy, as what we have it in front of us with the slide that you show us, with the picture that you show us, how could it be improved?
Yeah, like I take this example because it's something that we see all the time happening in Europe. So people said that they are doing something good like this, improving the nature using this kind of fences. Not we cannot call this a ecological corridor because it's too short, and we have pressures from the weather and all. So what we need to do in this kind of situation, we need to create space for the biodiversity. And most of the people think, oh, I will reduce my space of production to give space for nature. But nature will pay back for you if you do that. If you increase the area for nature and allow nature grow in biodiversity, this can pay back you because will improve the biogeochemical cycles. So the nutrient cycles can improve. Nature, in this case, you can bring more birds, more insects. You can set again the food chain in nature. And this can reduce the disease in plantations, can reduce the impacts that monoculture or even regenerative agriculture have. So allow nature grow again and give space to nature can give you a lot of good results, reducing costs, improving productivity. So
Yes, I hear you. I hear you. And just to kind of let me dig a little bit deeper on this, when we would have or we have like this pragmatic example, which is really a nice example of how agriculture is done in Europe, and we are trying to do better, improve, and increase the level of knowledge. So positioning, for example, trees in this on this picture, maybe in a kind of systemic planning. We have a system, we have a thought out system. How do we create some micro spaces or more space for, I don't know, animals or biodiversity? Or would it help? And also, I mean, do you have any experience, because there is this reduction of the size of area that you can work with, for example, especially in agriculture, that's always a big topic. Despite the fact that we know we already suffer losses of harvest, losses of yield, we know it's many times mitigated by fertilizing, over fertilizing the soil, which we know already is leading to more damage then good with polluting basically from soil to water, everything on the way. Um, could trees be one of the options, or maybe kind of working together with some local, I don't know, biodiversity planners, etc.? What would be your recommendation? How to kind of pragmatically solve exactly this image or situation?
Yeah, I I will try to do something a little. No.
Today it's going to be a special session for everybody bearing with us. So if you have questions, please drop them in the comments part. We see them, and yeah.
Yeah, just I will just a second. I will do best. I will draw
Mhm.
no and the presentation.
Super, super,
So
excellent, wonderful. We need to build this in also for the coming sessions, that we can kind of interactively show what is meant with yes. Super.
yeah, so you can see my
Yes,
screen.
we can see your screen. We can see your mouse. We can see it.
Okay, so let's think. So we have this area, and yeah, like this don't help so much the biodiversity. So in this case, what we do, it's something like that. So we can set this like uh, an area like this. Uh, Let me put in green. So this will be something like a buffer of nature, buffer of biodiversity. So you can increase this area. So leave this area just to plant trees. Most of the time, thinking about trees that can give food for the biodiversity. So you can increase this area, and this can bring more biodiversity near to the plantation.
Mhm.
What this can improve too, forests, it's like I said, it's act like a sponge in the area. So this small forest that we can create can retain water from the like can harvest water from the rain and keep this water near from the plantation. And the trees here in this space can increase the evapotranspiration. This can increase the humidity of the air, and this will improve the productivity of the plantation. In these other areas, we I know that sometimes people is scared because you are reducing the area
Mhm.
for production. So this we can increase like this corridor.
I think we have if there would be any
Oh,
other color would be amazing.
yeah, yeah. I will try to do another another drawing. Yeah, I will put like this. So
Next time we maybe do a Miro including this, so we have more.
yeah, yeah, good.
Mhm.
So we can increase like the size of the corridor to reduce the stress in the corridor.
Mhm.
So in that way, biodiversity can go more easy in this area, and then we can set another area near from the house of the people, and set another like another small forest here. So doing that, you can improve uh, like the weather, the microclimate in the plantation.
Mhm.
So here you will give like a greenhouse effect to this plantation, and all these forests and all this biodiverse area can reduce the disease that happens in this plantation. Can Here we improve the corridor, so the biodiversity here can go to the another area, and in that way we can improve the production of this area.
Mhm.
I know like the people lose part of the area of production, but you give more quality, and this is a key element. because right now, if we think about food, most of the times we look to the food and to the quality of the food. We don't have enough nutrients in the food. It's just sugar. It's just carbohydrates in the food, and this happened because we are looking to the productive, to the quantity, and not to the quality. And bring nature again near to the plantation will give back the quality to the food. So this will improve the well-being of the society in the area, can reduce the health issues that a municipality can have with the people within the city,
Mhm.
and this will improve the quality of the air there. Will give a more stable climate to the region. Will give more rains through the year, like the post that you shared with me about the agriculture, the photovoltaic agriculture, how we can reduce the stress that plants suffer
Mhm. Mhm.
from directly sunlight and all this. So bring nature near to the plantation. It's the best solution. We can work with photovoltaic in that case, like put agri photovoltaics. It's good, but bring nature, give us more results, better results, quality food, better weather, better health. Because even like I don't know if you already listened this, but we have nature bath. It's something that Japan use. So go to the nature and walk in the nature can help improve your health, can treat some disease
Mhm.
because trees uh, uh, like release a lot of metabolites in there, and these metabolites can help to reduce the oxidative stress in our body, can help to treat some disease, can help increase the quality of the respiration that we have.
Mhm.
So a lot of benefits we can bring when we bring nature together.
Mhm. Thank you so much, Diego, for this. I have one more question. Also, thank you, Robert, for the comment. Definitely, I believe it's also increasing and improving the plant's defense mechanism for, you mentioned it, sicknesses, pests, etc.,
Yeah.
what it has. And yeah, there are a lot of studies that confirm what you were saying in terms of the impacts of trees, and it's really like a lot of value that is unrecognized and underrated for the moment. It's underrated, despite the fact that it's the best time to start with the planting, because it's already like we could have growing trees already. But let me close this call with the last question, if there are no questions coming in anymore, and that would be, I mean, when you were mentioning this, respecting the bioregions, or respecting, sticking or planning your business with bioregions, and planning also the operations and the impact according to the bioregions, you mentioned two things. So look at the impact that you withdraw or that you have on the local region, whether it's a city in Switzerland, you have a chemical company over there, you have a river, for example, over there. You need to kind of look at the local region. Where do you withdraw the resources, and where do you give back and restore the resources, whether it's like water recycling systems that you have if you're using excessive water, or too much, or if water is a basic element for your production. Yeah. And you mentioned also that there are this still, the complexity of supply chains is not like gone. It's not like, oh, now it's gone, never anymore caoutchouc from Brazil or whatever is imported, cacao, I don't know. But it's still possible. You just need to make sure that you again go back and restore the resources from the area which you have taken it from. So whether it's the plantation or fostering biodiversity there or the natural cycle there, you need to assess the impacts which you have and go back there and put it back there, not to Vietnam and plant mangroves, for example, despite the fact that it's a great idea to do for coastal
Hmm.
protection. We all love mangroves, but the idea would be go back from where you take and restore it over there, let it regenerate.
Yeah,
Is this
yeah,
correct? And
yeah.
maybe a following question to that: um, does this change the way we saw offsetting uh, so far? Like, can it change? Like, maybe offsetting will not be, because many times, we have still the conflict because companies do not reduce really their impact. They just try to compensate. They continue as usual, but they compensate. Of
Yeah.
course, we know that this is not enough. We need to go into reduction, mitigation. We need to change things. That's quite clear. I mean, it's not going the direction, but many times it's also offsetting in this distant countries. Do you think that offsetting will come closer, or kind of, this, because it kind of is connecting to, for me, to that point that you come back and you give back to the local region where you take from, like you offset locally, you bring the impact back locally.
Yeah, yeah. Like most of the people don't like so much the offsetting thing, because yeah, like it's a scheme, and most of the companies do the offsetting just for financial results. They don't care about the environmental results that the offsetting can bring. So sometimes we see offsettings happen, like in Amazon forest. They just keep the forest, and they offset a lot of emissions from that. Yeah, like we need to keep the forest, but the forest will not sequester all the CO2 that this kind of company offsetting. So we are not doing the calculation correctly. So right now, almost all the offsetting programs, they don't look to the environmental results in a ecological way. So offsetting can be a good thing if we start to work with ecology, if we start to work look into the bioregions, look into the ecological functioning that happen inside the bioregion. And like we see the companies doing the offsetting in another country because it's cheaper, just that. Like if I already do some calculations to try to do offsetting for some companies in Europe. Like it's crazy because like the land in Europe, it's too expensive. So to buy land there and to create our offsetting project there, it's very expensive. But it's something that Europe need to start to consider, because without that, the extreme weather will continue there. We can offset all the south hemisphere here and bring the forest again to the south hemisphere, but the extreme weather will continue to happen in Europe because like in Europe you don't have enough forest to control the weather, and this is a key element. So people blame all the time just the CO2, but CO2 just give us like the average temperature most of the times. What set the variation in the climate is the water, and we mess up so much with the water cycle that we are facing a lot of these extreme weathers in a lot of countries because we don't have the water cycle regulated. So in Europe is it's the case. We don't have forests, we don't have evapotranspiration, and this cause a lack of humidity in the air, a lack of rain. And when the rain comes to Europe, comes from the oceans, and these bring the extreme weathers, the extreme storms, and all, because you don't have like this. Europe almost lose the functioning of the water cycle because the lack of forest. So I know it's expensive sometimes to do offsetting in Europe because like the land is expensive and all, but it's something that they need to do
Mhm.
because this will bring less risk to the companies, to the society there.
Mhm. Very interesting. And also, what I would like to add to your point before we close, I mean, you have this amazing funding opportunities here in Europe, where the union is literally looking at how can you start doing this, that it makes sense, that it can run on its own, that it can help us for a long time. It's like the prerequisite of funding is it has to work long time. Long time is above 10-15 years, and you need to be able to kind of have the knowledge to set it up. So I think it's also a great opportunity to look at the options over here as a company. Recognize, if you already look at offsetting, you already know there is something happening. You want to do something right. It hits you in the budget, which is, you have people that would suffer or whatever. But there are other ways, there are governmental support, there are organizations that also accumulate a lot of money for this, a lot of financial resources. Insurances are now getting on board, being reluctant to insure projects, or companies that are kind of, where it's unclear, I mean, who's going to take the risks, who's going to pay for in the end.
Mhm.
So I believe we kind of start to see on the market this kind of realization. Okay, this is not enough. It was, I mean, we learn. We
Yeah,
have not really looked at it for the last 30-40 years. It's a process. Better now than never. Let's put it like this. And just wanted to mention that point, that there is a lot of funding available. Many times we talk
yeah,
little finances, but if you do it smart, you can even reach out to us at Frogeex. We also look at this. We have this beautiful, amazing network of people like Diego Romero and the Global Impact Alliance that are helping companies to do this, to tap into the opportunities, design the projects right, so you can really leverage that and also complete the cycle. That means if you take something, you give it back, that the cycle can continue. So with this, I mean, Diego, would you like to maybe share something in the end with the audience for today?
no, like just one thought. Most of the time, like the offsetting don't happen in a good way because like we need to guarantee to the investors or to the company the results. And to do that, most of the times, the only way is to buy the land to guarantee the results. If we start to set good collaboration with farmers or landowners in Europe, would be a more cheap way. And even the owners of the land can get better results with agriculture and earn money from companies that want to do this kind of offsetting. So it's a huge opportunity to people that run the land, so the farmers and this kind of people. So we just need to set best practice between companies and farmers to set these kind of projects, because like the results, for sure we can collect very good results with that. We just need to set the best collaboration between them.
Super, super. So we end as every time almost on collaboration, which is a great pleasure. I mean, there are climate farmers, the network of climate farmers, also a regenerative movement here in Europe. So definitely a lot of space and room to talk together, to work together on ideas, and go deeper on that. Thank you so much, everybody. First of all, Diego, for being here with us. Of course, to all the viewers today, and you have the replay available. If you would have any questions, drop us a message. There is also one more thing that I would like to mention to you. We will have a masterclass upcoming again on system thinking, natural capital life cycle assessment, environmental life cycle assessment, that is especially designed for business to help you out of this situation, or get on your way in the situation as we are. So please watch out for the link that will be available next to the video. With this,
Thank you, Yana.
great rest of the day and week, and see you on the next one. Bye bye, Diego. Bye bye,
Bye
everybody.
bye.